Now, before you can set up your payroll, you'll need to set up your payroll preferences. The way that you do that is go to Seasons, Payroll Preferences. It'll get you to this page. Another way to do it is if you're ever on the payroll section, you'll see this preferences icon right here. Simply click on that. It'll take you to the same place. So we're going to go ahead and set up a mock payroll preference so we can demonstrate how the payroll section works. And the way you do it, you simply click on this button that says Create Payroll Type. It'll open this up. First thing you're going to do is click the type that you want. So we have a rate, cartage, travel per mile, travel flat rate, lodging doubling, dues deduction, and other. The name should pretty much describe what you're going to do, but we'll walk you through kind of how to set this up. So first thing we're going to do is set up a rate. And generally, most people have like section rate, and let's say our section rate is going to be $100. And you'll notice that we have this drop down right here that's a plus or a minus. Now what this means is, are we going to add to the payroll, or are we going to take away or deduct from the payroll? It's going to default to plus. Most of the things you're going to do, you're going to add to it, so we'll keep that the same. Next thing you'll see is this is the way the calculation is done. Is it going to be a dollar amount? Is it going to be cent amount? Or is it going to be a percentage amount? So we're going to keep this at a dollar and click Save. And we have our first type. Let's go ahead and set up another one. Go to rate. Now let's make a principal. And for principal, we're going to say 150. And let's go ahead and set up one for substitute. And for this one, we'll make it $50. So we have our rate set up. And let's say, for example, we don't want it in this order. We want maybe section to be top, principal next, and substitute. And the way you can do that is you want to filter it out to the types that you want to see. So we need to do that first. Right now we only have rates on the page, so that's all you're seeing. But if I had everything, you would see everything. So I'm going to flip this to rate. That's going to filter this out to only the rates. And you'll notice that I have a little drag and drop icon over to the left-hand side. So let's say I want to go ahead and put section to the top, principal next, and substitute. I want to order it like that. So now I have this ordered. And let's go ahead and continue with some more rates. So let's go ahead and start setting up cartage. So let's say we have harp. And let's say harp is $50. And let's set up another cartage. Let's go ahead and say timpani. And let's say timpani is $60. A little bit more to haul in the stage back door. So we're going to add a little bit more to that. All right, so we have our card set up. All right, let's go continue. Next, we're going to add travel or mileage. Now, you'll notice we have two selections here. We have one per mile and one flat rate. So what per mile is, if you select that, whatever the amount you put in, it's going to do a calculation based on how many miles they drove. Flat rate, basically what it says, they just travel, they get paid this amount. So we're going to do a per mile. So I'm going to go like a standard per mile. And for this one, most people do cents. They do so many cents per mile. So I'm going to flip that to cents. And let's say we're going to do 55.6. Let's be crazy with it. So 55.6 cents per mile. And we have that saved. You can see that right there. Let's set up another one. Let's go special rate. We'll just keep it special. Also cent. And for this one, we'll do 60 cents per mile. All right, let's continue on. So next, let's do a flat rate of, let's do standard for this one. Or let's do single. Let's say one person's driving in the car. So we would want to do, let's say this is $50. Let's say $250 for that. And then another standard flat rate. This one's going to be a carpool. So let's say there's several people in the car. So we would pay a little bit more for that. Okay, going on. Now let's go ahead. Basically, lodging is what it is. It'd be like for a hotel or some sort of lodging. Let's go ahead and go into doubling next, because this is going to be a little challenging. So let's go doubling, and let's say we have a woodwind. I'm going to use two examples here. Let's say we have a woodwind doubling, and this is just going to be a flat rate of, say, $50 per every time they have a service. And let's create another doubling, and let's say percussion. That's a good one. All right, let's say percussion gets a little challenging, and we're going to do percussion as a percentage. Now, whenever I select percentage, you'll notice another box pops up right here with a bunch of check boxes in it, and you'll notice my selections match the selections in this drop-down menu. What this is as a percentage is going to be based on the total amount of something. So you notice that it defaults to rate. Most of the time you're creating or you're calculating your percentage from the rate, but it might be rate and say cartage, which we'll get into that in a second. But for now, let's just keep it at rate, and let's say it's going to be uh, 10% of whatever the rate is. That's going to be their doubling fee. So I'm going to go ahead and also when you see percentage, you don't need to do the decimal. The program does it all for you. Just simply type in whatever the percentage amount that you want. So in this case, it would be 10%. I'm going to save that. All right, going on. So now I've got my doubling set up. Now let's go to dues. Let's say you're an orchestra and in your master agreement, you have to deduct the union dues. And they could be ROPA dues, they could be union dues, they could be various things. So we're going to go ahead and say union dues. And for this, we're subtracting amount. So we're going to flip that to a minus sign. And let's say this is a percentage. And let's say your master agreement says the union dues are based on rate and cartage. So I'm going to go ahead and select cartage. And let's say that is 20% of my rate and my cartage. So I'm going to save that. And so now we're starting to get a pretty nice little payroll preferences that we can select from. So that kind of gives you an idea how this is going to work. If you need to edit anything, it's very simple. Simply hover over the item. You'll see an edit button, and you'll have your choices here where you can make any change that you need to. If you need to delete something, simply hover, click the delete. You'll hit the delete icon. You'll double click it. That will delete that item. So now that we have our preferences set up, let's go to the next step and set up some payroll.